Hello folks, and welcome back to Chronicles of a Let's Player. I'm actually recording this is the same night I recorded the last two videos, just because again this is more of a catch up to present day. So I wanted to talk about exactly that, from how I was recording to my mindset back then up until now, as of August 15th, 2013. Again, keep in mind part of this is for my own journaling of my journey to this point, as I'd like to kind of see how I got here. 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, go back and go, oh yes, I sort of remember that. So anyway, when I first started recording, I used Fraps like pretty much everybody else, as well as Virtual Dub to do my encoding. This was my first videos were in I think it was February 2011. Yeah, that would make sense. I've been doing this like 2.5 years now. So everybody used Fraps back then, and it seems like so long ago. It was 2 years ago. Some people use other things, but almost everybody used Fraps for recording. I use Virtual Dub because it's a free program. My head doesn't itch until I start recording. What's up with that? And you can see my fat arms jiggling around. And now you guys know one of the reasons why I don't do face cams. Anyway, Fraps can record audio, period, on one track. And what that means is that my game audio and my commentary all mesh together on one track. Well, what does that mean? What that means is if I record and let's say my mic was turned down low, or the game sound was really high and it didn't sound like it, too bad. I can only adjust all the volume up, or I can adjust all the volume down. I can't do any volume balancing, and I stubbornly stuck with that for far longer than I should have. And what I would end up doing, at first what I would end up doing is the game sound would just usually be too loud, and I would be too soft. And I recorded like that for, again, far too long. And eventually, what I would do is, okay, well, I'll turn the game sound down low, and then I'll record myself a little bit and see how it sounds, and then go back and adjust the game volume and go back in. And that mostly worked. The problem is when there was a big discrepancy in some areas. So, for example, there's like a big firefight going on at one point. And then right afterwards, your characters are all very quiet. So it would have some problems there where either the explosion sounds were too loud and they were drowning me out, or the spoken dialogue part where the characters in the game were talking would get you couldn't hear them. So it was an ugly solution, but I'm very stubborn in certain ways, in a lot of ways, let's be honest. So I didn't change it as quickly as I should have. I also did batch encoding, and what I mean by that is what I would do is I'd record a long session using Fraps, and I would go into Virtual Dub and I would say, okay, take all of these files, because Fraps makes huge files. If you're recording at high resolutions like I do, like at 1920 by 1200 or 1920 by 1080, the files are huge. We're talking 4 gigs for about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes if you're lucky, but usually about a minute and a half. Needless to say, this filled up hard drive space very quickly. So in an effort to expedite my encoding and to make more room so I could record more, I would tell Virtual Dub to batch encode all of my files at once. So it would just go through and shrink them down overnight, and while I was at work, and I would come back and I would then stitch them together. Still in, what did I use? Wow, I don't even remember what I used to stitch my files together. So you can't really do that in Virtual Dub, I don't think. Actually, wait, maybe you could. I think you could do that, but there was no real editing abilities. So if you've never tried to edit an encoded video, let me tell you, it is a pain in the arse. Because in a nutshell, it's just I'm not even getting into the technical details. All that matters is trying to edit highly compressed videos is a pain in the ass. The software just goes very, very slow. So doing anything is just very, very painful to do. So that's why there was pretty much no editing back then unless I absolutely had to cut parts out because it would take a long time to do it. There was also that's when I learned about the nightmare that is codecs. Anybody who's done Let's Plays can probably tell you what a huge pain in the ass codecs are. It's incredibly convoluted. It's hard to understand. I still don't really understand it. I understand what works for me, and beyond that, my understanding of how all that crap works is tenuous at best. It's every time I would look into it, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to look into this codec thing. I'm going to find the best codec that looks the best on YouTube. And I would look into it, try different codecs, try different bit rates, try a bunch of different things. And I'd end up going right back to where I was because either the changes I made to the codec either made the files ridiculously large or they made the video look terrible. It just wouldn't work. So after multiple times, I'd always go right back to what I was using anyway. And I've never been happy with the way videos look on YouTube. Except StarCraft 2, I've never understood. StarCraft 2 looks amazing on YouTube. Every other game, even at 1080, looks okay, but it's not that great. StarCraft 2, for whatever reason, looks phenomenal. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, so I dived into the codec nightmare multiple times. When I was using Virtual Dub, I used whatever. I used a popular free codec, and it worked good enough. The video quality was good. It still took up a lot of room, but it looked good. And of course, when I uploaded to YouTube, it would crap all over the quality because that's what YouTube does. But, I mean, not really anything you can do about that. I also uploaded as soon as I finished. So if I strung together 5 videos, 30 minutes each, I started off doing 30-minute videos because I personally like watching longer videos. So I started with 30 minutes videos, and if I had 2 hours recorded, I would cut that up into 4 parts and upload for those 2 hours that day. If I recorded 4 or 5 hours, I might split it into 2 days, but more often than not, I'd just be like, screw it, upload it all, and give people plenty of content to watch, which was great when I was recording on a regular basis. But if I took a few days off, then I had no content. So I had no schedule whatsoever. It was just, as soon as I can get it up, I get it up. Very, very shortly, right off the bat, my first game was Dead Space 2, which is awful. Let's Play. If you want to get in that Let's Plays and you want to know how not to do it, watch parts of the Dead Space 2 Let's Play because it is garbage. But I very quickly thought Rift was coming out, the MMO Rift, and I thought, well, maybe I'll try recording that. And I was like, well, MMOs, who wants to watch somebody play an MMO? I'm like, even as someone who loves to watch Let's Plays, I don't even want to watch somebody play MMOs. But I thought, what the hell? There's absolutely no harm in doing it. Let's try it. So I did Rift. And again, if you want to see why you should not record your gameplay and your commentary on one track, go watch the beginning. You have to watch the whole thing. Watch the first few seconds of my very first Rift video. I recorded the audio all screwed up. I didn't check it. And my voice is super quiet and the game is really loud. I even have a note on the annotations about it. But that wouldn't happen if you record to 2 tracks. So that's why I emphasize to people, and I kick myself in the ass for being so stupid as to waiting as long as I did to record on 2 tracks. But that's why you should do it. Anyway, so I made those videos, and they were actually relatively popular. Again, keeping in mind my channel at that time, I maybe had 10 subscribers, if that much, and half of those were people I knew. So it was actually moderately successful. I'm like, okay, people seem to be enjoying this. So as MMOs came out that I was interested in, which is pretty much all of them, I would do Let's Plays of it. In fact, my largest LP is my Star Wars The Old Republic Sorcerer Let's Play. And if you watch that full thing, I give you massive props. because I did the math. It's like 240 videos, or maybe more than that. But I did the math. If you watch them back to back to back, it would take you 6 days to watch that entire LP. So kudos to anyone who has been able to watch that. Not to mention it's an MMO, so I'm leveling from level 1 to the max level. So again, which is boring as hell to me. But if other people enjoy it, then I am of the mindset that my channel it's for me, but it's also for you, right? Do things that your audience likes, that that you are okay with. For example, if every single one of my subscribers suddenly was like, "We want you to do horror face cam where you scream a lot," I would say I would respect that, but I'm not going to do it. But if everybody's saying, "Hey, do Minecraft, do Minecraft, do Minecraft," even though I think watching Minecraft is boring, if everybody wants to see it, I would do it. And no, that's not an ad. I'm not telling you to ask me to do Minecraft. I get enough responses. I'm just saying as an example. I think as a Let's Player, if you're serious about it, one thing that you should care about is what your audience wants. And then, giving the audience what they want within reason, obviously. But yeah, my MMOs have continued to be some of my most successful. And oddly enough, my first few EverQuest 2 videos have consistently been in my most watched videos for like 2 years now. Well, maybe not that long, but it's been a long time. It's right up there. So I was surprised. And that's why I tell people, don't be afraid to experiment. Don't let other people tell you, "Oh, well, that's not going to work. Nobody's going to watch that. That's going to be boring." Because I honestly thought no way in hell anybody's going to watch these MMO videos. And people did. People watched me just play, grind. I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. I would just play. I would do battlegrounds and instances and things like that. But I was mostly just leveling, and people liked it. So that's why I encourage you to experiment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now it doesn't work, or at least it doesn't work for you. But you might find something fun that takes off. So I strongly suggest people to feel free to experiment, because I've done it multiple times, and sometimes it's failed, sometimes it worked. Speaking of, when Skyrim came out, about maybe not, well, actually we're running up on 2 years now. Skyrim came out. I was Let's Playing everything that I play, which is pretty much the way it is now. For the most part, everything I play, I Let's Play. And Skyrim was going to come out, and I decided, okay, well, I'm going to LP this. But I thought, okay, there's no way this is going to be popular, though. I thought that there's going to be so many people doing Skyrim. Everybody and their mother is going to be doing walkthroughs, Let's Plays of Skyrim. So I'm just going to do it for my subscribers and for my own enjoyment. And I thought at the time that my build, which was a stealth archer build, I thought, okay, everybody's going to do this. I thought archery was very, very popular. So I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think nobody's going to find this. But Skyrim, some of the first Skyrim videos are some of my most popular videos. Even today, even almost 2 years later, Skyrim pushes a lot of my subscribers, like a lot of my subscribers. I still get from Skyrim. And in fact, a lot of you watching this video, which is probably not a lot of you watching this video at all, probably came from Skyrim. And that just blows my mind that game, again, being 2 years old, being played the hell out of by so many other people, is still drawing people. And I think a lot of it was due to my build. That, again, not a lot of people did that build. And the Skyrim thing, I want to go on a little tangent, which I guess there's no such thing as a tangent on these videos. And this video is probably going to be very long, so bear with me. And I might even split it up into two. We'll see. But the whole Skyrim thing gets me into, there's a lot of mentalities as far as Let's Plays go. I started looking at Let's Play, or when I started in LPs, I started looking for forums. One of the forums I found, obviously, was the Something Awful forum. And when I read the forums, they had all these arbitrary rules, like, don't do a game that just came out, wait 3 months, and all these other ridiculous rules that I was like, well, why would people do that? And they're like, oh, well, we don't want people hopping on it just because they want to get popular from it. Which, again, I thought was ridiculous. It's like, well, what if they want to become popular? Or what if you're just doing it to do it? Just like I said, just like with my Skyrim, I wasn't doing Skyrim to get popular. In fact, I thought it would be very, 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 very unwatched by most people. And BioShock Infinite, one I did semi-recently. When I did it, I knew damn good and well that it wasn't going to get many viewers. And it hasn't. It's gotten very few viewers because so many people did it. But I didn't do it to get popular. I did it because I wanted to. And because I thought my subscribers might want to watch me play it. So I did it. So I quickly fell out of going to that forum. And I found the subreddit, Let's Play subreddit, about a year ago. And I'm kind of skipping ahead. But, that's another thing I want to emphasize for those of you who are looking to do Let's Plays yourself. Don't let other people tell you what is okay and what isn't okay. As far as I am concerned, there's only one rule for Let's Playing, and that is to have good audio and video quality. That's it. And even that's not true, because there is at least one very popular Let's Player who, quite frankly, has horrendous video and audio quality, but he's got, probably over 100,000 subscribers, if not more. Excuse me. So it's not necessary. He's the exception to the rule that I've seen. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the only rule. If you want to Let's Play yourself playing Minecraft and Solitaire, fucking do it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. You need to keep realistic expectations. You're probably not going to get 100,000 subs Let's Playing Minecraft. Minesweeper. But just do whatever you want to do. I just think it's ridiculous to tell people, what to do, what not to do. So, and I have my own ideas about what makes a Let's Play, but I'm not going to tell other people don't do otherwise, because now you're not Let's Playing. Anyway, it's kind of a side rant, but I just kind of wanted to highlight that. That was my thinking then. It's my thinking now. And I'm sorry, I'm reading notes. I actually made notes to make sure I didn't forget anything, even though I will forget things. Eventually, I finally decided, I think one time I screwed the audio up. The balance of the game was screwed up. And I was like, all right, I'm sick of this happening. I'm just going to bite the bullet. I'm going to record my commentary with a free program called Audacity, which is great, by the way. And I'll record the game video with Fraps. So that's what I did. I started recording my commentary with Audacity and the video with Fraps. I don't know why I said that twice, but I did. And immediately, it was one of those things where as soon as I did it, I was like, you idiot. Why didn't you do this before? And very, very shortly after that, I started doing some minor editing with Audacity, such as removing all my uhs, which I keep doing and I'm constantly battling to stop doing, or any kind of noises from my mouth, or just annoying noises that are coming in the background. And unfortunately, I did that after I moved out of my apartment, because if you listen to my old videos, a lot of times you hear a tick, 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 tick. That was my old ceiling fan constantly tapping, and sometimes somebody would mention it, and I'd be like, oh, just ignore it, which is totally the absolute wrong attitude to have about recording, I think. Again, since I'm so big on audio quality, even though I realize my commentary audio in this series is really weird, I don't know why I'm still recording with my Yeti. I think it's something to do with my webcam software. It's recording with the Yeti, but it's really weird. Anyway, getting distracted again. But that was a good move in the right direction, starting to use Audacity. But the problem with that was I had to sync the Audacity commentary with the Fraps, right? Because I'm using one program to record I like to talk with my hands. I'm recording, my commentary is here, its own little entity, and my video is where am I hand here. Sorry, and I would have to go back and sync them up, sync them up. Jesus, why am I doing that? Stop. So I had to sync them up, and that was a pain in the ass. I really didn't like doing it. I come up with methods to get around that. I would like I would say 1, 2, 3, and then hit spacebar loudly, so my character would like jump in most games, and I would sync the sound on my keyboard with the character jumping. But then sometimes fraps would get out of sync. So, and it happened later, and it seemed to get worse the more I used fraps. But like later in the video, the audio and the video would get out of sync. And I mean, audio video like syncing problems are terrible. They're terrible to watch and they're terrible to fix. But I dealt with that for a long time. Just doing 2 separate tracks. Finally, I finally ditched Virtual Dub. And I was like, screw this. I'm going to use editing software, like legit editing software. And it so happened that Sony Movie Studio 12 had just came out with 64-bit support, finally, which is ridiculous it took them that long. But anyway, it had 64-bit support, which means that it could use more than 4 gigs of RAM, which is really nice when you're editing, huge amounts of raw video footage. So I bought that, and that's been another one of the great moves I've made, because it's made any kind of editing I need to do easier. And I've also started to do additional editing that I would never do before, such as like noise gate. Well, no, I did start doing noise gates in Audacity. If you're not familiar with noise gates are basically, they make any time your sound threshold is below X level, it makes it silent. So if I'm just talking and I breathe like that, and you might not even hear it because I'm using noise gates, but it will, because the breath is lower than the threshold I set, it makes it silent so that you can't hear it. Now, obviously, if I'm talking and there's some loud, repetitive, like snapping in the background, it won't help there because I'm talking. It doesn't work. It would make everything silent, so that wouldn't work. But that was a big change. And also, I started, again, using Audacity, kind of going backwards here. I started removing white noise. Again, white noise removal is one of those things that I cannot believe I waited so long. Because when I go back now to listen to older videos, even Skyrim, it's got that constant, and hopefully now you're going to be like, if you go back and listen to them, you're going to be like, oh, I can't stand this because now I never noticed it. Is the white noise is just very annoying and obvious, and I'm glad I finally got to the point where I remove it. Though with this new mic, it's not really been a problem, but that's a whole other ball of wax. At the time, I was actually using my Sennheisers. You can see they're a little beat up now. I still use these for, as headphones when I'm recording, but I actually use the mic to do my commentary. Now the quality was fine. It wasn't as good. It was just not quite as good as it could have been. But beginning in 2012, or somewhere in there, I decided, okay, this whole uploading everything as you do it is stressful, because I'm like, oh, I didn't record today. I don't have anything to upload, and there's so much stuff to upload. And if I want to do any kind of special series, then I can't do it. Well, I mean, I could, but then I won't have anything except the special series because I keep uploading everything at once. But a lot of people said how much they liked that I upload so much, because they're like me and they spend a lot of time on YouTube, whether at work, at home, or whatever. So they had a lot of stuff to watch every day. So they liked that. So I was really conflicted. So I kind of sat down and I looked at what a lot of other Let's Players do, a lot of the big ones. And while there's some that do upload a lot, the SSOHPCK, whatever his name is, he uploads a lot. Like, holy Christ, he uploads a lot. I don't know where he finds the time. But he's kind of the exception. Pretty much everybody else I saw uploaded every day or almost every day. and just in smaller chunks. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to start uploading. I'm going to cut the pieces to 20 minutes a piece. Because in YouTube, you can see how your viewer, what's called your viewer retention. And that indicates how long people are watching the video. So if you get like a 10-minute long video, you can see, okay, 50% of the people have stopped watching by minute, 5 or whatever. So on these 30-minute videos, very, very few actually would watch the entire thing, which is actually maybe 20 to 25% even finish my videos on 20 minutes. But I decided, okay, it's kind of pointless if people aren't watching the whole 30-minute video. So I'm going to cut it to 20 minutes, and I'm going to do one upload per series per day, which is what you see now. So if I'm playing Tomb Raider, Thief, and The Witcher, I upload one video for each every single day for 20 minutes. This allows me to record a bunch at once, get it all encoded and split up and all ready to go, and work on other things, or, God forbid, have a social life, which I really don't do that too much, or I try to avoid it. But I can work on other things. I can research. I can, play other games just for fun. It's not as stressful because I have a lot more free time. So I tried that, and that was another really good decision that I made, I feel, as it gives me more time to do other things, and you'll see that kind of coming up here in a bit. So I switched to that. Some people did complain at first about the new setup. They did complain that they missed me uploading that much more. But for myself personally, I feel that was a better decision, because I can now branch out a bit instead of just focusing on, got to record today, got to record gameplay today, got to record Let's Play today. So I could branch out. Now, in late February, I heard about a game called Drift Moon. I think I read about it on Destructoid, and it sounded interesting. And I saw that there was a demo, because I don't think it was out yet, or maybe it had come out. Regardless, they had a demo. So I thought, okay, well, I have an idea. I'm going to do a video on games that have demos, but maybe they're not out yet, or maybe they're about to come out. And I'll play through the demo, and I'll give my thoughts on the demo, kind of first impressions, or what this game is about based on what's in the demo. So I did 4 videos on the demo, because the demo was actually pretty long. It was like an hour, maybe a little over an hour. And I made a comment in the first video. I said something along the lines of, I'm going to try this new idea for a series where I just play the demo of a game, because I'm not a big enough name like, Total Biscuit or Northern Lion. I'm not big enough to get access to early access to these games like they do. So I'm just going to, do the demos. Well, one of the developers actually left a comment on the video. I guess she, because a lady and her husband did the game pretty much all themselves, which is really impressive, by the way. But she left a comment and was like, hey, even though you're not one of those big folks, we'd be glad to give you the full game if you want to do a review of it. So I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll totally do that. So that was, I think, my very first review. No, I think DMC, Devil May Cry, was my first review. Which, if you haven't watched that, it's pretty hilarious. Unless you're a fanboy of the old games, you'll probably get angry. But otherwise, you should go watch it, because I actually found that one pretty amusing review. But at any rate, so they sent me a review code. My very first ever review key was from the fine folks who did Drift Moon. So I played through it, and I did my review, and I posted it up. And, looking back, it definitely took a lot more work to do a legit review than, just doing a Let's Play. Because, well, for multiple reasons. But needless to say, I wanted to do a good job, especially because they gave me the review code, so I felt it was my responsibility that even if I didn't like the game, which I actually luckily did, it's my responsibility in that case that I do a good job of covering it. One, to give them fair press, and also for anyone who would watch it, I wanted to make sure they had a realistic expectations of what the game could have. so they could make a educated decision on whether to buy or not. And I still feel that way. I feel very much in my previews and especially my reviews, that I want to give a fair look at the game so that people buying it can make an informed decision. So at any rate, I did it, and I wish I'm terrible with names, but the lady who worked on the game, she emailed me and was like, or emailed me back and was like, "Oh, yeah, it's a really good review. I really liked it. I think you did a really good job." Blah blah blah. So that got me pumped. I was like, "Yeah." I mean, she probably wouldn't have said, "Oh, I hated it. It was garbage." But regardless, I still was like, "Oh yeah, she liked it," and I felt good about that review. I was like, "Oh, I'm so happy with that." Around the same time, the developer for Bloodlust, just coincidentally, emailed me and was like, "Hey, I've got this indie game called Bloodlust. Would you please, play through it like you did with Driftmoon?" Actually, no, I don't know if I had my Driftmoon out yet. Anyway, but it was like almost the exact same time. So I was like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that." So he sent me the demo, and I tried it. I made video on it, and that's when I started getting the ideas. Like, man, I really, I want to do this more often, but there's not much opportunity for it. Well, again, coincidentally, around that time, Northern Lion, who is very active on the Let's Play forums, and it needs to be said that a lot of big LPers are. I'm not going to say even this just praise him instead of trying to bring others down, because no matter how I'm going to put it, even though I'm not trying to bring others down, it's going to sound like I am. So I think he's awesome. I think his videos are great, but he is awesome in that he's very proactive with the Let's Play community, at least in the subreddit. I don't know about something awful, but on the Let's Play subreddit, he's posted tons of great information there. Just big write-ups of this is how to do this, or this is how to do tagging. And he's just always been very open about that. And I personally appreciate that. I know a lot of other people do too, that he takes all this time out to share what he's learned about what works, what doesn't work, giving you tips on how to do things. So, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm giving him like a verbal handy here, but that's why I have a lot of respect for him. I don't always agree with him on things, but I have a lot of respect that he has found success and continues to find success, but yet still finds time to give back to the community. So I have a lot of respect for that. So if he's watching this, which I'm sure he never will, thank you, sir, for that. Anyway, so around that time, Northern Lion posted on the subreddit about how to contact companies, especially indies, about getting review copies of games. And honestly, for whatever reason, I never even thought to do that. Like, I knew the big companies not even going to happen, but at least the indies, I should have thought, you know what? Small company, like 5, 10 people, if that many working on it, they'd probably be cool with that. So he wrote up a thing on, the type of companies to do, the kind of form letter you write up. He made a video about it. A lot of really good information. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So that day, I sent out, I think, 3 requests. And 2 of them got back to me very quickly and were like, "Oh, hey, yeah, here's some review codes." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "This actually works! Like, this is amazing." And I think the 3rd company wrote me back too eventually. But at any rate, that's when I really started to get into trying to get press copies of games, mostly indie games. But even when big games come out, I email them and ask. Deadpool, I tried to didn't get a response, but who cares? I tried, didn't work. Oh well. I did try with Saints Row 4, and as many as you know, I did get one. So it's worth my time, I think, in that case, to, if I'm interested in the game, obviously, and then to hit them up and to do a preview video on. But at any rate, his video really opened up the floodgates for me as far as doing the previews. That's why you're starting to see so many Let's Try videos. Partially because I'm going out and seeking permission and copies to do them. 2, because I see that they're pretty popular. And 3, and we're kind of jumping ahead here, but I think a lot of developers, a lot of publishers, especially smaller ones, the bigger ones haven't quite come around to this yet, are coming around to the idea that, hey, these channels on YouTube, even if they're small, if we just, kind of blanket and get our name out there on all these videos, sure, each channel might average, 20, 30, 40 views, maybe more on about our game, but it's out there. It's getting the word out. So this, even if let's say somebody sends me a code for a game and it gets, let's say it does really badly. It does like 30 people watch, right? If 2 people buy that game, that code was then worth it, because even if I would have bought the game, those 2 people, you basically doubled it. So to them, it's a no-brainer. And I might not have bought the game anyway. So it's a no loss. In that case, it's nothing but positive for them. So a lot of people are coming around to that. And I'll cover that in just a minute. Later, a few months later after February, I don't remember exactly when this happened, I finally got tired of the copyright claims on videos, most of them being completely invalid, like random companies claiming videos. If you've ever done any YouTube stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you have to constantly contest those, and again, 9 times out of 10, they're invalid anyway. And there's ways you can get around that, and you don't have to get a partner, because when you get partnered with a network, they take part of your profits. But honestly, I was like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with all this other crap. I just want to make the content and put it out there. So I started researching networks, and I found that RPM looked like the best fit for me. It had the best reputation. Actually, I tried to get with the Game Station, and Game Station was pretty much like, hey, they didn't say this, but the obvious what they were implying, or that I got from it, was you're too small, but check out RPM, which is owned by them, and it focuses more on the smaller YouTube. So I replied to them, got through. So I'm actually with RPM now, which is pretty cool. But here's one thing you need to understand about networks if you are a Let's Player, or otherwise, I guess. The network doesn't really do anything for you. That's, might sound mean, but it's the truth. The only thing that they really do is they mostly shield you from the copyright nonsense. Now, if you start uploading videos of Linkin Park, or whatever godforsaken reason you would do that, if you start uploading a bunch of copyrighted music, or you start uploading The Hobbit, I mean, your ass is grass. But for legitimate Let's Plays, for the most part, they're going to cover your ass. Now, there's exceptions, like with the Nintendo BS. But for the most part, I don't have to deal. In fact, I don't think in the 6-ish months I've been with RPM, I haven't had to deal with that at all. And to me, that's almost worth it right there, that I just don't have to deal with that one extra little thing. So I've been with them for a while. But other than that, they don't really do anything for me. They don't advertise for me. They don't push my channel. To be fair, I haven't contacted them about it. And they do small things where they'll push certain channels. But for the most part, and this is true for almost every network, unless you are big already, they're probably not going to push you. And it's kind of a rich get richer situation there. But anyway, that's when I joined RPM and got the copyright monkeys off my back. So that kind of brings us to, semi-recently, one thing I forgot to mention. Eventually, I got tired of fraps. I got tired of the lag with fraps, because when you play with fraps, it kills your frame rate most of the time. They just weren't updating it enough, and it's just. But I just kept dealing with it because I thought, I don't want to change. I got it set up how I like it. Finally, I just had enough. I had enough of the desyncing and other problems, so I was like, F it, let's look into some other things. I tried DxTory, and a lot of people sing the praises of DxTory, but I just did not like it. I kept getting sync issues again. Just wasn't a big fan. So then I tried Bandicam, and I was like, wow, this is actually really, really nice. It had a bunch of really cool features that I liked. It records my audio on 2 separate tracks. So now I could record all my audio with Bandicam, and my game audio is here, and my commentary audio is here, and I can adjust them afterwards to balance the audio out. It's just a lot of cool features. So I was like, oh, this is great. So I've been using Bandicam for a while, and I really like it. Though, what's funny is one of the very first games I recorded with Bandicam, Metro Last Light, ended up having serious problems. But funny enough, since then I've not had any issues. But for the most part, yeah, I've really loved that switch to Bandicam. It has saved me so much trouble. So that brings us, I think, to where I am now. And the situation now, and this has kind of been building slowly, and I think it'll continue to build, is that more and more, and I mentioned this before, more and more indies and more publishing companies are understanding how good YouTube can be for them at getting the word out for the games. Obviously, people like Total Biscuit and Nerd Cubed and Northern Lion with really big followings, when they push a game, especially like Total Biscuit, I think he has over 1 million followers now. When they push a new game, that really helps. And especially if you're an indie. Can you imagine being an indie developer? You know, you're a 5-person team, you're struggling to get, people to talk about your game at all. And somebody like Total Biscuit, who has over 1 million views, does a video, and in the very first day he gets 10,000, 20,000 views. If even a very small percentage of that goes, that helps your visibility and that helps your sales quite a lot. But they're starting to see that, if we spread that out, again, to a lot of other YouTubers, I don't want to kind of retread this ground, it's really going to help us get the word out about the games. So I've seen very recently, it seems more and more publishers are not only open to YouTubers reviewing their game, even if they're not a big channel, to actively seeking them and saying, hey guys, please give me your channels so that we can let you know when there's a version of this game. Like the PR companies and the publishers, there's been multiple times where they've actively asked that, hey, please, if you got a channel, send it to us because we want to know so we can send you, a code to check this out. Now, please don't abuse this system. Like if you don't actually plan to LP and you just want free games, don't try to get one past them because I'm pretty sure they do actually check out to make sure you have a legit channel and you're not just like, hey, give me free games. But it's really nice to see them coming around to the channels and seeing how much we can help them. It's a mutual thing, right? Because we're helping get the word out about their games, and they're helping us get more exposure because I just did a game called Waking Amy. It's okay, people are looking for Waking Amy. And one of the first results might be my video. And I might get more subscribers and I'll get more views from that. And then from that, Waking Amy also gets exposure because not only the people who are looking for information get it, and information from a non-biased source like myself or other YouTube channels is going to carry more weight, right? If I say this game is really fun, I'm really enjoying this, that carries more weight than the developer saying, hey, our game is really fun, you're going to love it. And they also get the exposure from my existing subscribers because not a lot of them, but quite a few of my existing subscribers or anyone's will say, oh, I want to see what's about this game. Well, I've never even heard of this. Let me click the video. And some of them might say, that sounds really good. I'm going to go buy the game, or I'm going to go contribute to the Kickstarter, or I'm going to go share this video with some friends who might like this game. So it's mutual beneficial to both of us, or both parties rather. And it's really starting to come around, and I'm very, very pleased about that. And right now, as the recording of this video, August 15th, 2013, I have 2,644 subscribers. I average around 33,000 monthly views, which isn't as much as it sounds like. And now this is a lot. I have 2,477 videos uploaded, which is a lot. I will definitely grant you that. If nothing, I have nothing if not a ton of content. So that's where I am today. Up until now, have I considered making this a career? When I very first started, it wasn't even a thought. I never thought I would get the subscriber base I have now. but I never thought anybody would be interested enough in my take on a game that this would be even remotely possible. Because realistically, you need hundreds of thousands of views per month to make it even close to a viable job, right? So I thought, okay, that's just not going to happen. I'm just doing this for fun. And over time, probably starting, especially with late last year, beginning of this year, I started to entertain the idea that, well, maybe one day, maybe I can make it happen. And as of right now, I'm still pretty much in that same mindset, but I've now moved it more of that would be nice if that happened, to that's my goal. That's what I'm shooting for. However, I'm also being very realistic with myself. I'm in a mindset like, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. But best case scenario, this is still not something that's going to happen tomorrow or this week or next week or this month or next month. It's going to take, barring, PewDiePie randomly decides to pimp my channel, which isn't going to happen. Randomly, barring some kind of amazing stroke of luck like that, and I have a whole other thing on luck. But anyway, barring something like that, it's going to take a long time to continue building the channel to a point where I can do that. So, as many of you know, I'm currently unemployed. I got laid off very early this year. So I'm looking for work. But in the meantime, since I've got so much time, I'm spending a lot of it focusing on my channel. And to be totally honest, and I know everybody watching this is probably not going to sound that bizarre to especially if you are into LP'ing yourself. But those of you who are just viewers, like the very few people who are actually watching this is going to sound very bizarre. But this channel is something I am incredibly passionate about, which doesn't happen for me. I tend to be a very, honestly, apathetic about most things. And even when I've been interested in things before, I've been like, oh yeah, I'd like to see this happen. But not driven to the point that I could work on it and work on it and work on it and not quickly become tired of it. This channel, this has been the thing that's pushed me more than anything else. And again, to anybody else not doing it or not really into it, it's going to sound ridiculous. So, oh, you're really into just playing games all the time. It's like, well, how can you be passionate about that? That's stupid. But, and I kind of want to put this in a different video, but in a nutshell, what really drives me is, one, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing the commentary. I like the challenge of doing the commentary. I like the challenge of playing the game well-ish and giving good, consistent commentary at the same time. And I also like the challenge of getting my channel out there, because there's so much behind-the-scenes stuff that you guys don't see, and I will probably talk about it in the next video, that it's just very interesting to me. And I really like that challenge of putting myself ahead of the flock to get my channel out there. And it's been very interesting. And again, I just really enjoy the challenge. And I'll talk about more about what I'm doing and what I've been doing recently in the next video. But I really enjoy it. And again, it's going to sound hyper nerdy. Not that talking 50 minutes about your video game channel isn't nerdy in itself. But I mean, when I wake up, I think about the channel. When I'm during the day, I think about it almost nonstop. And when I go to sleep, I think about the channel. It's something that really pushes me. And again, this is like, even as I say it, I'm like, God, that's the nerdiest thing even I have ever heard. But regardless, it's something that really drives me now. And I really hope that you guys have enjoyed the channel, this series as well. But I really hope you guys enjoy my content, which I assume so, since you're watching these videos. And I do appreciate the feedback you guys give. I might not respond to every single comment, but I do read every single comment. And I do appreciate the support you guys have given me, over the months, if not years in some cases. So anyway, I think this video is quite long enough. It's 50 minutes. Wow. I might split it up into two. I haven't decided. But excuse me. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Look for the next video very soon where I will talk about what I am doing now, currently, to both improve myself. Let me pick my nose before I finish this. To further myself and further the channel. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this series. Again, please leave comments. Comments are one of the most awesome things about doing these because it's always fun reading people's comments. And I will see you next time.